Hello, everyone. Bruce Morris from the Tabb Group here. Welcome to Tabb Forum's Market Structure Wave. Today's conversation focuses on how capital markets firms are gaining a competitive edge over both new entrants and incumbents through better use of all of the firm's available assets. Today, we are very fortunate to have both Joe Lichtenberg, Head of Product and Industry Marketing for Data Management Software from InterSystems, and Virginie O'Shea, Founder of Firebrand Research, join us to discuss this business-critical subject. Hey, Virginie. Hi, Joe.
Hi. Thank you, Bruce.
So, Virginie, let's get going. In your recent article, titled Gaining Competitive Edge, the Data Arms Race in the Capital Markets, you talk about the need for firms to gain new and meaningful insights in real time by leveraging both internal and external data. Can you talk a little bit about what that means in more detail?
Sure. I mean, when you think about what financial institutions are dealing with in the current market, we've had, I want to say, 2 years of intense volatility. It's been a roller coaster ride for the markets. We've had pandemics, we've had wars, we've got a lot of different things going on in the market. We've had the crypto market going up and down all over the place with regards to capital markets. So financial institutions have their risk departments, they have their product departments, they have to respond to a huge amount of information that's being thrown at them from across a variety of different external data sources, and also combining that with a lot of their internal data sources. So I think to be able to cope with this amount of change, you need to have a very good view of the opportunities in the market. You need to think about your clients from a 360-degree view. So being able to combine lots of different data sets from lots of different sources can make you give you leading edge over your peers and competitors in the market. So and let alone applying new next generation technologies on top of that information, like AI or machine learning. So which also requires a lot of high quality data. So there's a lot of different drivers in the market currently to be able to adapt, to be able to make use of the data that you are having thrown at you from a variety of sources, as I said.
Joe, is this what you're seeing with InterSystems financial services customers as well?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we have more than half of the top global banks as our customers, and this is exactly what we're seeing as well. So I think, now it's always been important. But now more than ever, these black swan events are happening, and there's all of these disruptions in the marketplace, and the need for more data from more sources, and really to be able to react in real time and near real time is more important than ever before. So it's exactly what we're seeing as well.
Virginie, can you talk about some of the more innovative and leading edge examples and benefits that you're seeing that might be illustrative for our listeners?
Sure, happy to. And I can think about this from multiple facets, right? So if you think about it from the front office perspective, there's a lot of discussion about the Great Resignation. There's a lot of personnel change going on. There's a lot of change in terms of the nature of the work that people are doing. So we're moving from pure sort of traders to quants, and they're relying a lot more on the technologies and tools and the data that they have at their fingertips to be able to deliver returns. So there's also a huge amount of focus on risk and mitigation of risk in the front office context. It's moving to more of a real-time risk area. So and that arena is fast developing, and you've got a lot of more data that needs to be fed into analytical tools as well. So technology has been a real catalyst for change, and best practices around that, having the data support to be able to feed into next generation tools, be able to handle the scalability of all that information at speed, in real time, deliver those insights to the fingertips of sales traders on the sell side. On the buy side, we also have a lot of focus on being more active and engaged. There's a lot of stress being put on active management these days. We've had the rise of passive. So when I think about it from the front office perspective, you really need to keep ahead of risk. You need to keep ahead of business decisions. You need to better manage liquidity. And you also need to keep your regulator in the loop and keep a very good audit trail of what you're doing. So tremendous amount of pressures there. And you know, data fabrics and the like are very important in getting that data into a fit for purpose sort of shape to be consumed further down the line with regards to your downstream tools.
Virginie, we also see, in addition to all of that, which we see as well, we also see the need for the quants and the analysts to have access to this data, to be running all sorts of simulations and analytics. Do you see that as well?
Stress testing has become, you know, de rigueur for a lot of financial institutions of all kinds, because, I mean, let's face it, we're never, the horse is always bolted to some extent.
Yeah.
So we need to look at historical events and understand why things happened and try to be more predictive about what might happen in the future, though it's very difficult, right? Crystal balls and everything like that. But certainly, yes, we are seeing a lot more sort of stress testing, scenario analysis, all of these different things within the front office, middle office and back office, to be perfectly frank.
Yep, we see that as well.
Joe, that's a great segue for the next question. What are some of the challenges and solutions that you're seeing, both from a technology and from an organizational standpoint?
Yeah, it's a really good question. You know, this is not new. Putting data in the hands of the people inside the organization that need to make decisions and use that data to improve the operations of the bank. And so, you know, we've seen everything from copying data and taking extracts and point-to-point connections and spreadsheets and flat files. You know, there's a lot of discussion now around cloud data warehouses and things like that. But the key challenges are really around getting access to the data without delay in real time and near real time, and being able to incorporate more data from more sources into the analytics, right? And so, you know, data lakes and data warehouses, they do provide value, but they're not really fully solving that problem. And there are some really exciting new developments in the world of data management around data fabrics and data meshes, where the business is really able to get real-time access to the data from more sources without delay, and be able to do more with it in terms of analytics, retrospective and predictive and prescriptive. And so we're seeing more and more in financial services, the adoption of these new technologies like data fabrics, that are by and large addressing a lot of the limitations of previous approaches. So it's a very exciting time right now.
Virginie, I'm gonna go right back to you with that same question. What are some of the challenges and solutions that you're seeing from both a technology and from an organizational standpoint?
Well, I think it was very popular a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago now, probably about a decade ago, was to set up a lot of data lakes. There was take all of your data, throw it into some sort of container, let's sort of examine what we've got, try and do something with it. But unfortunately, when you have a lot of data there, you really do need to have, turning data into information is sort of, it takes a step to go through that process, right? So you need to have some sort of framework, and a data mesh or a data fabric could be that framework, like the lake house. You have sitting on the lake shore to try and sort of process some of that data and make sure that it's fit for purpose so that people can consume it further down the line, whether that's directly looking at it and adapting it and using it yourself, or if it's feeding into different systems. Generally, you need to have something there that can make that data comparable and useful and normalized. And that's the sort of the key stage here, is that you can't just sort of throw things into a data lake and expect it to work. You need to have something that helps you interpret that information, helps you put it into sort of a comparable set and a framework to be able to make it useful to the business. And that needs to be done at speed, because we can't be waiting for, as Joe was saying, taking hours to go through sort of Excel documents and reconciling information in a very manual or slow process. It needs to be relatively quick. and real-time information to the front office is part of that as well.
Yeah, we have, I would just say we have customers that when we came in, the reports that they were providing to the front office had data that was a couple of days old, and the reports were static. So those were two key problems that they needed us to solve for them, to have access to real-time data, and also to provide the capabilities to the line of business users to be able to drill into the data and get answers to their questions in a self-service manner. We have other customers that have had previous projects where they would build out an enterprise data lake. But Virginie, exactly as you said, the data in the data lake was not fit for purpose. So they couldn't use it to get the answers to the questions that they needed. And the data was old as well because they had to move the data. So both of those use cases were perfect for implementing a data fabric where they could make all of that data dynamic and real time.
So this is just a snapshot of the type of information that our listeners need. Can either of you, Joe, I'll start with you, where can they go for more information, more in-depth information to learn about this?
Sure. So one place to go is intersystems.com/finance, where you'll find a wealth of information. And then Virginie, I'll also turn it over to you, where you've actually just written a fantastic thought leadership piece on the topic as well.
Sure, and unsurprisingly, that's up on Tabb Forum for everyone to view. So please do like it, comment on it, and give us some feedback as well.
Virginie, Joe, thanks so much for sharing your time and insights with Tabb Forum today. And to our viewers, thanks for stopping by for what was hopefully an educational ride on Tabb Forum's Market Structure Wave.